So in this episode, I'm going to teach you how to eat out like a pro. So it's stress-free. You can enjoy yourself when you eat out. So it's not a burden. And to accompany that, I actually have an entire guide associated with that that's going to showcase to you my favorite place to eat, the best macro options, some additional tips. So if you want to grab that totally free, just message me fast food guide to my Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. You can see the fast food guide, like what I want you to send me, so I know what you're asking for, as well as my Instagram. The first note in the show notes of this episode, but I assure you, you're going to want this because it's going to go hand in hand with this episode. Let's jump into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
your co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house. Today, we're going to be talking about 8 simple tips to still get results while eating out, while having a busy life, and just how to make better decisions. Like, the truth is, most people are amazing at being perfect when the situation's perfect. You have everything cooked for you, everything laid out. It's all in Tupperware containers. They do really well when groceries are done, but that's not the reality. The truth is, life gets busy. I know every single person here will at some point be on the go, will be at a restaurant. We'll have to just scramble to find something. And we want to set you up for success, not just for 1 week, not for 2 weeks, but for the rest of your life. So all of these tips, you can apply them in different ways, shapes, and forms, whether it's like a quick grab and go place, which we're actually really big fans of, or if it's at a restaurant where you're out on a date night or a business meal or whatever it is. Now, the first thing, and most importantly, I would say, is try to focus on picking your entree or your meal with protein first and then build from there. So when I get a menu put in front of me, the first thing I'm looking at is going to be, where's the protein coming from? Even if it's a plate of pasta, and Josh did a great job of this in a local, when we went to Carbone a couple weeks ago, he's like, I searched it up to find beforehand, like what had the most protein. And I thought that was incredible because the truth is fats and carbs are everywhere you look. Like when you look at most appetizers, when you look at anything on a menu, they're just being pushed everywhere. Like typically they're tastier and they're easier to get access to. And it's just, to me, it's very easy to overdo them, especially if you love carbs. Obviously, they can just be overindulged super easily. So I always like to look at a plate as kind of like, when you think of a healthy plate, you want to think of the protein, you want to think of the veggies, and then you want to think of the smart carbs. So some examples for the protein would be chicken, steak, fish, tofu. For veggies, you might want to go salad, grilled or steamed vegetables. And then smart carbs would be different examples like rice, potatoes, wraps, pita. Now, these are just different examples. Obviously, what's most important is it fits within your calorie intake. But when you do sit down at a restaurant, or for us, when we do a lot of grab and go places, it's typically something that's going to have like a lot of chicken because we can still get literally 70 grams of protein from our meal, which is absolutely insane, especially when you think of a comparison like McDonald's, which is like just completely garbage, right? But this is going to be the most important strategy for restaurants, and I really hope it helps you.
Yeah, and a cool bonus tip here is there's actually one thing I do use ChatGPT for a lot. It's not perfect, but it's a great tool. If you say, hey, I'm this weight, I want to have 1,000 calories, I want to have as much protein as possible, I want to be pretty full, and I really want to try this cake, like what would you suggest me ordering on this menu? You can also just say, what are the most popular things on the menu? Or you could say, these are my taste preferences. And this is a pretty cool way to kind of intelligently know what you want in advance. This is something I've been doing a lot more lately and has been pretty successful for me. Once again, it isn't a perfect tool and it will work a lot better if it's more of a well-known restaurant where there's more discussion on it, but it is a cool little bonus tool. The main thing is you're equipping yourself in advance, because if you know you want to have like 400 calories of cake, you're going to have to build around that. And that's where we love having the freedom of the 80-20 rule to understand what we want to do. And if you want to ball out, you want to have like a 1,500 calorie dinner, you want to be pretty full, you're going to have to plan for that earlier in your day as well. So I love Kyle's points too of just like focusing on the main things, building around it, and really making it fit in that day. So my next biggest tip would just be having staples. So if you are someone who likes to eat out, I enjoy eating out. Me and Kyle will usually grab lunch most days, especially when we work together, and even just to showcase some new restaurants and different opportunities. We find it's very convenient for us. So it's something we like to take advantage of. And a lot of people will see eating out as like, if you eat out, your results are shot, everything everything's in the gutter. Instead, if you have some go-to staples, like for me, burrito places in general, usually I'll do like a Chipotle. That'd probably be my first choice. I have everything pre-logged and saved. Chick-fil-A is another good option. Shawarma places, salad places, bowl places, like anything that's good, and it'll be different for you. If you have a random Greek spot near you that does like amazing, like you get a bunch of Slovakia and a bunch of veggies and some rice, and it's a go-to spot for you, get that pre-logged in MyFitnessPal, save it as a meal or an item, get that all put in there, and you'll be able to access that at any point, have that readily available. In those moments where you're in a pinch, where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm starving, I need to eat out, that can help save you from making like a bad choice or eating something just with horrible macros that you don't really want, where you're in a McDonald's drive-through. Like I make a point to avoid anything like that at all. Most places that I've drive through, generally I try to avoid, and I'll try to go in where I can, take the extra few minutes and aim to get the healthiest option possible.
Yeah. Next up, I think it's really important to avoid liquid and unnecessary calories, especially because to me, these are the things that add up super quickly without too much value. So when you think about it, it could be like a really crazy cool coffee that's like 600 calories. Obviously, cocktails are another example, but it gets really challenging to make these things work. And especially because for the Freedom Formula, our goal is to just make it fit your lifestyle, where it's like you never feel like you're going backwards, and where you're just like not kind of consistently overindulging and then just like regretting it. Like you want to still feel good about your decisions while having a great time. Like to me, that's what it's all about. It's never feeling stressed going into these specific things. It's about, hey, how can I make it work? Let's do this, right? But liquid calories to me, it's just they're pointless, and I'm just not the biggest fan of it. So I'm a big fan of having different things. Even if you're at a fancy restaurant, it could be sparkling water, it could be Diet Cokes, even just if you are someone who wants a drink. Like it is so easy, and I'm sure people have been there, right? Where you have 1,000 calories of just like drinks that you didn't like properly account for or log. So even if you are wanting to still incorporate it and you're looking forward to it, you can still choose better options, right? Whether it's like a vodka soda, it could be a lighter beer, it could be like some wine or something, and even having a limit on that. Because I know, once again, a lot of people will just be like, all right, I'm going to have a bit, and then end up having quite a bit more, which also leads to worse eating decisions without you realizing. So liquid calories to me are just kind of a no, and I try to avoid them personally.
Yeah, I think just trying to make smart decisions and really see what you value. Like if you just feel like you need to grab a cocktail, like obviously you're going to have to log the alcohol, you're going to have to log the sugar, the juice. Like you really want to know what you want. And I think if like you're at a breakfast place and they have like freshly squeezed orange juice, like it's not to say you can't have it. It just is going to take away calories from other things. And it's all based on what you value and how hungry you get. I know I get super hungry, so I'll always lean to like having more protein, more veggies, so I can feel more satiated, because otherwise I find I'm miserable, and I don't like poking at things where I'm going to be deathly hungry in an hour. So just being aware of these things and really making sure it fits. And that's where the Freedom Formula is so good, because if you want to be a hooligan and have a bunch of juice for some reason, you could, like obviously there's better decisions you could make, but you just need it fit within the criteria that is available. And my next biggest tip, taking a little bit of a spin here, is just being able to customize orders. So you want to do this intelligently, and you don't want to be rude about it or ridiculous, but I think there is a lot of benefit to always even asking for double protein, asking maybe if they can grill instead of fry chicken, and say, hey, could you grill that, and could I actually get 2 of those? Sometimes you can actually order a chicken breast on the side, and you could still have something super fun that maybe is a little bit more caloric. Like let's say you had gnocchi or something, which you're not really getting any protein in there, right? You're just getting a ton of carbs, a little bit of fat. But you could have that chicken breast on the side, like crush your gnocchi, enjoy that, and then also still get a protein. Like it might seem a little weird, but it's like at the same time, why not? Like what's wrong with having a chicken breast on the side? Or if a salad doesn't say chicken's available on it, you can go ahead and request. And sometimes going off menu like this can be good. Or if something has a fry base, asking for vegetables on the side. Like you do have different options available to you, and even things like sauces on the side can control a lot of calories. And obviously the more of a cut you're in, the more you can be specific about this. And that's where you'll see people that are competing be very, very neurotic about what it is they're doing. But having a little bit more customization to your order is your best thing. Even for me, sometimes I'll ask for more of like veggies and I'll ask for less of some things that might be more caloric because they can add up quite quick, especially if a lot of sauce is being thrown on there. You can very easily have a ton of calories from that.
What's cool is you can still get the benefit of tasting it if you're looking forward to it without the 300 to 500 calories extra. Like most of these places, they just lather it on and like you get your meal and it's like, oh my gosh, I could have done with like a 1/7 of that or something like that. And we also have to add in like, make sure, do it politely. It's funny because there's times I'd like scroll reels and when I try to get some fitness ideas, I'd see these guys like go into restaurants with their cooking oil because they're like seed oil is going to kill you and they'll just do it for content, but they're just trying to like make this worker feel so bad. And it's not the right way to do it. Whereas if you just say, hey, listen, I just got a request. I'm trying to make some better decisions. Like, could you do this? And people are so open to the stuff like that. And even recently, like when I would get a chicken shawarma bowl, there was a local spot I got a few times. I would just get half rice and half salad. Cause I'm like, I saw one time they just put like so much rice. It was just like insane. So there's a lot of good options out there that, when you customize it, you can make work. And even like when it comes down to the stuff we have day to day, it's always customizable stuff. Like we don't go into these chains where it's just like you can only get one filthy Phillies like cheese steak thing. It's like, hey, we can build our own. So if I want to put all these ingredients in, like to me, building your own is so amazing because you can make it what works for you and what fits within your day and stuff that you actually enjoy. But to me, being honest about what you value is super important because I'd love to sit here and say that you could go out every day and have 3 apps and a full entree and dessert and drinks and just be shredded and jacked. The truth is that isn't actually the reality. And if someone's out there saying that, they're probably misguiding you. Or I see some people who are on steroids who, just eat like that. And it's not what works. But when it comes down to restaurants, going out and stuff like that, there's some people who just love a nice big entree. Some people are really big fans of desserts and even appetizers. I'm not the biggest fan of appetizers. I know some people who love it. I never grew up with it. So to me, it's just like, I don't really care as much unless it is like a cool protein thing. Maybe what's that stuff called? The prosciutto or something like that. I look forward to it. It's just tasty and good protein. But yeah, just being honest about what you value because like if you just go in thinking like I can do absolutely everything, often you will be misguided. You'll consistently go over your calories. You'll be consistently like way too overstuffed. And like, it's not a good feeling being like, oh, well, I want 3 pieces of cake and then like bunch of entrees and all this other stuff. So yeah, just being aware of what you actually enjoy is a really powerful thing in my opinion.
Yeah, and this next tip is one of the biggest tips for me, and that's actually not needing to finish everything that's in front of you. So there's a couple different ways you can approach this. You can focus on eating till you're satisfied. You can focus on eating till you're about 80% full. However you want to look at it. Before I used to always freak out. I'd be super hungry. I'd over order. I'd always finish what was in front of me. And very often, like I wouldn't pre-log it and I'd be like 1,000 over my calories and there's no going back from that. So instead, like log in advance and be honest about what you're eating as well. There's been times I've ordered things, comes out and it is just like, you're like, oh my gosh, like there's a lot of oil, there's a lot of butter. And those things are really tricky as well in terms of satiation because you'll feel like you're more hungry because they're very dense in calories and they're not going to be really filling. Whereas I always like to say, if you have a ton of just like, let's say you had something super boring, like very basic chicken breast with spinach, it'd be very hard to get full on that. So pacing yourself as well. And the nice thing about doing this is if you eat till you're satisfied, not till you're full, you could stop, take a pause for a bit, and you could wait like 5 minutes. And if you're actually still hungry, the food's still there, you're still welcome to have it. And if it's tracked, that's something you can do. You can bring it home with you. You can have more for later. And it just feels better. Like in the past, I just used to crush it because it was there. I would just have everything I could and you'd feel too full. You'd feel kind of like, oh, that it's not a great feeling being stuffed. You think you want to be stuffed, but usually you're just going through wanting to have that pleasure of just stuffing your face, getting that tasty reaction of what you're eating, saying no to dessert sometimes if you're full. Like even if it's something you want, you could always get it another time. Like being realistic about this is huge and having the ability to bring some home. If you leave a little bit of food on the plate, that's okay. And I know one thing I've always found interesting is people would say, well, don't waste it. But to me, it's like, is it being more wasted if it's being thrown out because I'm full and I don't want to eat more? Or is it being wasted if I'm just eating something for the sake of eating it, putting on fat, feeling worse? Like, to me, I don't think that's a strong enough argument. And there is always that opportunity, if it's great food, to bring it home and enjoy it and have that benefit as well.
I think one thing I've kind of switched my mindset with, which it was actually a bit of a hard switch, is just trying to make the most of like the money that I've put forward. And like what I mean by this is like there's been so many times where I'd be like at a conference, or like we even had tickets to the UFC last year, and like just we were doing no alcohol. So I had zero alcohol, but spent like $3,000 on the ticket. Or even when it comes to restaurants and whatever it is, it's like it's easy to think like, whoa, well, I've spent this much, like I want to get everything worth it. And then afterwards, and I know every person here has had that feeling where you're just like, why did I do that? And like buffets are a great example of this. But the truth is, like, every tip here can actually still apply. Like even the amount of times I've been to buffets or conferences where like the food was there and you try to pick and choose, or weddings or whatever it is, and you're like, okay, start with protein. Okay, don't overfill my plate. Like having these principles to me can just help you live a life that's stress free. And I think they're so important. But on that note, another thing here is obviously having a log of the calories and pre-planning in advance, if you have the data and information beforehand, is very, very powerful. I will say I try to overlog because, once again, these places are designed to make you want to come back and to want to just keep coming back. And especially with butters, oils, sauces, they will lather them on. You may not see all of it. Some of it you will. But I find that like being honest with yourself and just actually saying, you know what, like I'm still going to put in the system. Like it won't be perfect. I don't have my scale with me. I'm not asking the cook to, portion it out to 250 grams or anything. But if I can look at a meal and say, you know what, here's roughly what it is. Like if you have a massive plate of pasta in front of you and you log it as 200 calories, like you're completely lying to yourself, and it's just not worth it. If you're actually being honest and realistic, then it gives you the proper data to make the decisions. Be like, okay, well, maybe I can have dessert or I can't have dessert today. We'll figure it out. It's kind of like a puzzle, right? And even in the fast food survival guide, I tried really hard to give you a lot of different principles and things to think about, even when it comes to logging, because there's a lot of things that it gets tough. Like if you go to a local burger chain and you're just like, oh, well, I don't know what this is. There's a lot of different examples. Like I'm sure most people have had Burger King before. Okay. We can search up Burger King, Whopper, if it kind of looks like that size and there's a double patty or whatever. These things you can still replicate and log, and it gives you a lot of good information. So once again, message fast food guide. There's a lot of great information. We give suggestions on how to build your Chipotle bowl, what to get at Starbucks if you want to go there. Even McDonald's, I hated on it, but I still put in some suggestions if you're just in a pinch and like you have to get something. Like there's a lot of different ways to navigate it. So yeah, get that guide. And yeah, that's tip number 7.
Yeah, and remember to use eating out as a skill, not a setback. You're going to eat out. You're not going to want to say no to going out and seeing friends. You're not going to be able to always get home to eat a meal. You're going to travel. Things are going to happen. So you need to learn to use it as a skill. It's something you can improve. And just remember, if you cheat, you're just cheating yourself. Like in the above example with the oils and the butter, like if you're just like, oh, this fits. And I've seen people say that things fit. And I'm like, come on, like your steak is not 300 calories. Like there's 0% chance, right? Or if you're getting a massive cake, like you got to call it what it is. And I think there's examples to that. And even I shared in my story, I had a really nice cinnamon roll the other day and it was delicious. It was freaking awesome. It was great, but it was 800 calories, right? And I didn't have that specific log, but I logged it as a large cinnamon roll, which was effectively the same size, maybe a little bit less dressing. And you got to be real with it. Like I'd love to just search cinnamon roll, find the lowest calorie one, 300. And it was a funky situation. I had to eat a lot of lean protein and veggies around it, but I made it work. It wasn't the end of the world. And having these tools is what's awesome, because should you desire to use up some more of your calories on something more fun, you have that ability. Use the freedom formula, use 80-20. And if you're wondering what the heck's the freedom formula, then you probably missed last week's episode. And I highly recommend you check that out, because that's how we've been able to stay ripped and lean while eating out, eating all of our favorite foods, having no restrictions. And it's truly the secret to our and our clients' success. So go ahead and listen to that episode. Grab that fast food guide, because a lot of the time you don't even know where to look, or you'd be surprised that some things are better macros than you think, and some places are a little bit better than others. So I highly recommend downloading that, poking around, getting some inspiration, because it'll make some of those difficult situations that much easier. But we want to thank you for tuning in with us today. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.